think about it, like Wes Craven is the master of horror.
Self-titled.
Well, okay, self-titled. Like nobody else claimed it. Like Michael Jackson being the king of pop.
Sure.
But you think about it, he's got maybe three, maybe four actual good films, like the first Nightmare on Elm Street, Scream, Serpent in a Rainbow.
I kind of like The People Under the Stairs.
Okay, I've never seen it, so I can't say.
But when you start looking at some of his stuff, like the Scream sequels, Last House on the Left, which I'm sorry is just garbage. I don't care what anybody says. People remember that weird. Even The Hills Have Eyes was at the time entertaining, and now it's just kind of
back at it
dated and dull. Vampire in Brooklyn. I mean,
yeah.
But you know what? Every single one of it, even the worst shit he did, and he did some. I mean, those were the highlights right there. I mean, he's done stuff much worse than that. Oh God, what the hell was the name of it? Shocker.
Dude, oh God,
Cursed.
Shocker pissed me off. I hated that movie so badly.
But you know what? That was goddamn Casablanca next to My Soul to Take. It's being even the biggest horror geeks on the internet. People from the horror sites are saying, "Look, Wes, we're not giving up on you, but what the fuck, dude?"
Well, so maybe you could help me out here.
Yeah.
Because I see the name Wes Craven, and I'm not wanting to go near it. And I get to the theater, and the ticket was $12.50 because it's in 3D.
Yeah.
And let's get this right off the bat. They don't do jack shit with 3D.
Dude, did you even notice anything that was like 3D?
Not a single thing.
I mean, when you take off the glasses and look at the screen, it's fuzzy. But other than that, it's the most shameless money grab use of 3D I've ever seen.
So you got to help me out here because you say hardcore hard geeks don't like this movie. And you clearly hated it.
I hated it.
I kind of liked it.
You kind of liked it?
I did.
Oh my God! I don't even.
And I know, like I'm an anti-horror guy.
Yeah, don't touch anything of mine over there.
Well, I'll say I don't know if that's what it is because I'm like, you know what? So often I go see slasher flicks, and I just don't enjoy them because of things they don't have. But this one sort of like the killing in the beginning. I was like, okay, I see the motivation here. I'm with this. I got kind of surprised by some things. Then later, the two main, you got the kids. We're normally like, oh, I hate these teenage kids. But these guys, I'm like, you know what? They're quirky enough that I'm interested in their story.
You've finally gone over the band.
I have. I mean, like, there were things about it. I was like, you take the horror elements out. We're looking at a quasi, third-rate John Hughes movie. Let's see where this is going to go. The main kid,
call the police.
The main kid Bug, the whole thing with him imitating the people around him, how he was kind of a little bit woohoo. I dug that.
Here's the thing. This seemed like it was a solid concept session because it is a neat idea. And let's just go ahead and talk about it here. In this small town of Riverton, where the fuck ever.
Yeah.
It starts off with 16 years before the primary story, where we see this guy, kind of watching on the news about the Riverton killer called the Ripper, who's like killed his however manyth victim, and everyone wondering who is he, and he has this unique knife they caught on camera that says vengeance on it.
And they use the CSI camera that can blow something up, and it gets clearer. But
yeah, well, that's the least science fiction in here. And he's like, wow, that's peculiar. And then he finds the knife in his own house, and he's like, that's even more peculiar. He doesn't seem really that fazed at first, but he quickly realizes when he starts having conversations with
himself
and like 5 other people inside himself that something is clearly amiss.
Well, now I did think it was funny, like, and I say like funny and ridiculous how on the news the psychologists are just like, yes, we can't find this guy, and this killer could be someone who's killing and doesn't even know that he's doing it. And I'm like, hold on, how could you come to that conclusion just from a couple of crime scenes?
Well,
that's a stretch.
This is the type of thing I'm talking about in this movie, and here he realizes pretty quickly, I guess quick enough, that yes, he is indeed the killer.
Right.
And the killer that's inside him starts arguing with him, going, look, here's the deal. You call your doctor and you tell him that you're the killer and need to be stopped, and I will kill your wife, your unborn child, and your daughter on the spot. And there's nothing you can do about it because I can take control of you anytime you want. Or we could go back to the status quo where you pretend like nothing is going on and I just kill people. Well, he figures, fuck it, I'm going to call the doctor anyway. I think I can keep control. He's wrong.
He's wrong.
He is totally wrong. But it ends with one of the better parts of the movie is this whole beginning because it turns into this totally bloody shootout with the cops and there's exploding things.
Yeah, and normally where these things go so far over the top that I just can't buy into it, I was like, all right, it's a little out there, but I was actually kind of with it.
And it's made very clear in here, right from the get-go, that this is a supernatural force.
He said he'd get them all next time. What do you think he meant?
Maybe he's talking about his other personalities. My family's from Haiti. And down there, they don't say that someone like him has multiple personalities.
What do they say he has?
Multiple souls.
What's the difference?
Personalities die when the patient dies. Souls live on. It's all just superstition, I suppose.
Can you hand me my jacket, please? It's cold as hell in here. Thanks.
Is this your evidence bag?
Yeah, anyway, there's a big explosion, a bunch more people die, and either he got away, whatever. His body has disappeared. So naturally, here it is 16 years later, and the entire town ever since has embraced the Ripper and the Riverton killings, and to the point where there's an annual celebration every year that the whole town turns its lights off. So the 7 children that were born at the instant that the killer died, supposedly, or disappeared.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's any connection there.
Yeah.
Do this little ritual where one of them, somebody dresses up like somebody that looks absolutely nothing like the killer.
Sure.
And comes out, and the one whose turn it is of the surviving kids has to fake fight him off. It's sort of a
right.
symbolic
It's just a ritual.
See, the problem is the kid in question who's supposed to do it, who's nicknamed Bug, played by Max Therio. He's kind of schizophrenic himself.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's got his own serious issues.
Right.
And he can't do it. He freaks out, can't do it. Cops show up, and then everyone's like, all right, well, we're out of here. And he's really freaked out. He goes, what are we going to do? I didn't stop I didn't complete the ritual, so now the killer's going to come back. Which, guess what?
Well, we wouldn't have a movie if the killer didn't come back.
Because the killer comes back looking just like that costume, which once again kind of is like, okay, why he didn't? The costume was like some kid's imagination of what it
Cyrus,
looked like.
I don't want to say too much, but you know that it gets explained.
I know. It just was bugging me anyway as I was watching.
Okay, all right.
To some level. Anyway, it turns into a sort of half-baked whodunit because
that was the thing. I was like, I could not figure out who it was. I kept jumping back on theories.
That's because there's no way you could. The movie throws up so many bullshit red herrings at you and so much absolute nonsense. I mean, Jesus Christ, what was all that bit about the California condors? That had nothing to do with anything. Like, Bug is obsessed with the California condor, and they bring it up over and over again to the point like he shows up in school with a big California condor suit for his friend to wear that sprays fake poop and vomit on the bully.
I thought that was a fun scene. I dug all that.
I think you're an insane person.
I'm not insane.
I think you're the Ripper.
See, I'm telling you, man, so many of these movies, they don't ever do anything extra. It's just go from one ridiculous killing to the next with one douchebag kid after another that I don't care about. The killings get more out there to where I just can't buy any of it, and I'm just waiting for it to be over. And now, saying all that, I was kind of disappointed the killings weren't more creative.
No, the killings were awful. They were boring.
They were boring.
Yeah, there was not a single good gore moment, but there was enough gore that it couldn't be like PG or something, you know?
Right.
So it was like, okay, so what was the point? I mean, and tension. There was no tension. Even as you got towards the end and the big fucking, finally the hero versus the killer, or is he? I was like, wow, I've seen more tension on the Vampire Diaries.
Seriously, I felt a lot of tension.
Really?
It just in my, not knowing who it was. And really, not until the final reveal was I sure who the killer actually was.
Did you take drugs? Well, no, of course you wouldn't. I didn't know who it was either because, like I said, there was no way to actually predict it. The movie didn't set you up where it was. There was not enough information in there to do it because there was too much bullshit information flying.
But there was enough to really seriously suspect people. And there were times when I had one or two serious suspects only go like, oh, shit, it wasn't them.
It could have been absolutely anyone, and ultimately in the end it really doesn't matter. Yeah. 2 pages on Rotten Tomatoes. 0% right.
Really? Mm-hmm. Well, I'll have to get on Rotten Tomatoes and make sure it has 1%. Seriously, I really
liked it to that degree.
I mean, I was kind of surprised because I was like, dude, you don't have no idea how much I didn't want to go see this. I was drinking with friends before going. And I was like, oh, guys, I gotta leave.
Maybe alcohol's the key.
No, because I went in totally in a bad mood, not wanting to see it, kind of tired, feeling I would fall asleep. I never even got bored. I never wanted to check out. I was interested the whole time.
I wanted it to be good because I grew up with Wes Craven, and
Sure.
I'm constantly rooting for the guy. He's just like George Romero to me in the sense that, like, okay, it's been a while since I've seen anything worth seeing from you, but I keep my fingers crossed every single time, and I support you every way I can in going out to each new movie, hoping that's going to be the one that you're going to win me back. I mean, I got nothing but support for him for Scream 4. I hope it's great. I really do. I don't think it's going to be, but I hope it's great.
You know what? I just have to wonder if, like, me not being a horror fan, maybe I'm just not seeing the good horror movies. So if I only see the shit, and this is what I compare it to, I go like, hey, bravo. But I got to say, of almost every one of these things that we've had to go see at screenings, this is the first one where I felt like, okay, I got what I've been asking for.
I mean, like I said, I would give whoever came up with the original story, presumably Wes Craven, because he's the only one credited with the script, kudos just for the idea, but that's not enough. Story by credit is all anybody deserves a pat on the back for, and I felt like, as terms of how it was written out into a screenplay, it was such an abject, embarrassing failure. I'm sorry. I don't know. I know it's that I'm a huge horror buff, and maybe you're not. Maybe you were expecting different things, like you said. But, wow, I can't tell you how, I wasn't even angry. I was just befuddled walking out of it. Like, who thought this was a good idea? And then it just occurred to me now. Leon, you're the guy who greenlit this, aren't you?
My secret's out.
I'm telling you what.
I said, you know what, Wes, I don't know about that other bullshit you did, but this is gold, baby. Well, like I said, you know what? I'll be that one guy out in the wilderness who says, like, hey, I thought it was all right. I dug it. I give it a low matinee.
Wow. I'm actually going to read the comments on this one and keep up with them just to see.
Good, because I'm not.
I will email the choice ones to you.
You know what? Don't even write comments about me on there, because I'm never going to read them.
Don't worry, folks. I'll email them to them if you get a nice, juicy one. You know what? This is some old bullshit.
Wow, really? That far?
It's awful, dude. There's, like I said, the only good thing
So compared
about
to, like, that last remake of Friday the 13th, you thought that one was better?
I hated that one, too.
Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't stand the remake of Friday the 13th.
What was the last other shit?
Like
The Ruins?
I didn't like The Ruins either.
Okay, because this is the stuff I'm comparing it to.
The thing is, like, I find that most horror that makes it to the theater is awful.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, most of it is really terrible. I mean, it's because they look for shit that appeals to these mass audiences who just want to have their girlfriends who scream at any jump scare. The good horror is what we see at, like, Fantastic Fest, or stuff that comes out of other countries and stuff. I mean, I don't really trust 90% of what comes out of Hollywood in horror.
Oh, well, then I'm correct about this, because I only see the stuff that we see in the theater.
Yeah, and most of it is terrible, and this was terrible.
Okay.
Just in my book.
Well, as terrible things go, I thought it was the better of the terrible stuff, and I enjoyed it.